Welcome. Another day, another episode. I'm really enjoying this. Trust me, I am really enjoying this. Back to back. I'm all charged up. I'm kind of lost with track and time, day and time, lost track of day and time. I don't know where I am, what day it is, what time it is. I'm just like doing it back to back because I love there's so many great artists and so many shows coming up this year, especially before we wrap up the year 2022. That's right. A lot of great shows coming up. So I'm trying to feature as many artists as possible. Welcome to the show. This is Something Like That with NAV. My name is NAV, of course, and this is a podcast that features all the Malaysian artists, musicians, bands, anybody from the arts and entertainment scene. And the good news is this particular series, 10 episodes have been supported by our friends from Pemulih, Mike Radio, and also CENDANA. Thank you very much, guys, for paying the bills and also promoting the podcast itself. Thank you so much. All right, my guest for this particular episode. If you're in the indie scene and you've been traveling around checking out gigs, you definitely would have stumbled upon this particular dude or his band, and he's no new kid on the block. He's definitely no new kid on the block. He's been around for a very, very long time. And I tell you one thing that kind of reminded me of my good old days there is because one of the record labels that he was attached with. We'll talk about that in the podcast. We'll find out more, but. Let's bring on AZLAN Ramli from the AZLAN Ramli Quartet. How you doing?
Hey, Nav. Thanks for having me. I'm doing good. And you?
I'm doing great. I'm pretty surprised I'm actually having a recording at 10:30 a.m. Rarely I do that. I had one few weeks back. Last week is it. And this is my second time doing it this early, which is kind of nice, actually. I think you should start doing more of this.
Well, this hour. Usually it's quite practical. Usually, after 8, I get really busy. So morning,
okay.
Yeah, morning is nice and relaxed. Coffee,
Okay. Well, good. Busy is good, man. For me, I kind of, like I said earlier, I kind of lost track of time of what's going on. It's like the moment you wake up till you go to bed at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, it's like it's been nonstop. So doesn't really make a difference on my side, but it feels good though. The early morning coffee. Not after 15-20 coffees. Dude, earlier, before in the intro of my show, I said that you are no new kid on the block. And the reason being is because I saw one of your, you sent me your profile and I saw the 2 labels that you attach with. It was Positive Tone and Polygram. Those 2 names I have not heard in centuries, man.
Well, they don't exist anymore. So.
Yeah, exactly. Positive Tone, okay, here and there, but the name Polygram, oh, dude, that is Otai. That is Otai. So you just got to give that tabit spring. So that was a very, very long time ago. I remember working with them for a couple of projects many years ago. And Polygram
I was signed when I was
Sony.
5, so.
We do not want to reveal age. Yeah, Polygram's the one that turned into Universal Music, right?
That's right.
Merger and all. Yeah, right. And Positive Tone was focusing a lot on local artists. One thing nice about that particular label was they had a lot of good talent in that particular label, man. Amazing talents.
Yeah, it was amazing to be part of family. Although we signed with them only a distribution deal right at the time when EMI bought them. So we had EMI.
Oh, okay. Because that is the label that revolutionized the independent music scene, or rather the local music scene. They brought in a lot of great acts, introduced them to the public, and one thing led to another. Well, you had bands like OAG, let's see, Poetic Ammo, and a couple of other guys, and of course your previous band, of course, was in the list. But who's your previous band? We'll find out in a bit from now. But first, I got to know everything there is to know about you, because I've been curious. I've been watching a couple of your online shows. I've been following you on social media, checking out your tracks. And I must say, I'm in love with the stuff that you've been doing and the energy you have on stage during your performances and your bandmates. That's pretty interesting. It is a concept that we're going to discuss about that in a bit from now. But please, Azlan, like we said earlier, AZLAN Ramli Quartet is a brand new act, or rather brand new band for this year, but you have been in the scene for a very, very long time. What made you change from that to this?
You mean from my old sound to where I am now?
Yeah, exactly.
Geez, a lot of things. First off, I was out of the scene for the longest time. I was in my old band. That band was really a pop punk band. I held down the bass duties, helped create our one and only album thus far. I think that band has not had any other albums after that. And high energy, really high BPMs. I go out on stage 45 minutes and I'm drenched in sweat. Actually, I still am drenched in sweat every time I go on stage.
I could see that.
That hasn't changed. But it was really, it was not really, songs that I originated or I wrote, right? And I have a lot of songs myself. Right? I'm a songwriter. So when I came back to music a couple of years back, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do my songs, right? And so I came back. I started off back in the singer-songwriter route. Did open mics and stuff, and then through that scene, I met my current band members and we decided to form a band. And we play mostly my stuff. I'm hoping to write a couple songs as a band. I haven't done that in the longest time. That's always very exciting. But right now we're doing my stuff. And the band's creation is largely in the studio, both recording and rehearsal studios when we are arranging songs. So what I really like to do with this band is I just bring in this is the idea of the song. I don't even do a proper demo. I just do an acoustic guitar, my voice, and then there are exceptions, but I try to do that, and then the band creates the arrangement from scratch. That's my preferred way. Then I get the best out of every band member. It's awesome. There are a couple of songs not released yet, which I did come with more or less an arrangement. I do here at home, and then the band reinterprets that. Also works out, yeah. But that's what the songs about. Yeah, I don't know if I answered the question.
Yeah, it is. I think so. Okay, but the thing is, from the band that you were with before, the sounds of that particular band, I've noticed that you have not really carried that tone for your current band itself. You have, I wouldn't want to use the word mellowed down. It's slightly, it is upbeat, yes, but it's not as heavy as what it used to be. So are you comfortable with that change or shift in pace, or more like a style?
Absolutely. It goes down to the songwriting itself and the singing style, right? I'm most comfortable singing soft voice mostly. So if you hear myself, all of the music is like really loud and happening and grinding. We think quite fast, actually. A lot of songs I tend to sing it in a soft voice, and it's quite interesting, right? So like a few weeks back, we were playing at Rumah Api, right? And Rumah Api tends to be very loud, and I was like, "Boleh ke, my soft voice in this venue? Boleh, why not? I come close to the mic and it comes out, and the choruses tend to be louder, and that's just how I sing, right? It tends to be soft. I'm more comfortable that way, and my songs tend to have a melody which lends itself better to a softer voice rather than a full chest voice. In fact, I was just in the studio a couple of days ago. We were recording our next single, and it's also a song which utilizes my softer voice. And at the chorus, we were like, "Hey, this chorus is something else." So, let's try my chest voice, right? And it booms out. I'm like, oh, okay, that's really loud. I'm not used to it. So that's what it is. It's not that I've changed style. It's actually, that's my style. It's just not been evident in my last band. Yeah, in the band before that, when I was with my previous band before the last band, when we were signed to Polygram, that one you can hear the soft voice as well. So I haven't really changed. In fact, we do play a couple of songs from that era, which is quite interesting because for the songs to be still relevant, it's bloody amazing.
But you'd be surprised from the era that you've been, and the music currently is kind of like a cycle right now. Is that like coming back? If you listen to most of the bands, alternative sounds or rocking sounds, it's like, hey, I've heard this way back in the day. When I say way back in the day, I'm not talking about 50, 60 years live. I'm talking about maybe plus minus 15, 20 years ago. So it is coming back in a cycle, which is kind of refreshing at the very same time. So
Yeah.
I guess the good part about having you in the scene is like you get the best of both the worlds, the new school and the old school, together reflected in your music itself. But your energy hasn't changed one bit when I see you perform on stage. That remains all the way, man. But coming up, working with your bandmates, because your collaboration, or rather your bandmates, are quite interesting because they have their own bands individually.
That's
if
right.
you're talking, you're wondering who exactly is in the band. You have Shakir, you have Keith, then you have Ajang, right? Did I get the name right? Ajang.
Ajang.
Okay, so you have Ajang over there. And I don't know about Ajang, but Keith and Shakir, they have their own bands, or rather their own style of music. But it kind of, how do I say, switches from time to time. I've seen them with your band. I mean, performing with you as one band unit. Then I see you performing alongside their bands from time to time.
That's
and
right.
it's a mix and match. So I'm a bit confused on one thing. Does this in any sort or any way affects your identity as your band itself you're going on? Because it's like sometimes it's just all you have to do is just swap places and boom, that's a different band altogether. That's how it looks like at certain times of it. But
Sure.
for you, does it feel that way? Is that how people perceive, or audiences come on board? It's like, okay, who am I watching exactly today? Am I watching AZLAN? Am I watching Keith? Am I watching Shakir? Who's who for this particular day?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's a valid question. I get asked that a lot. That's a story behind it, right? We all met in the singer-songwriter scene.
Okay.
Over the couple of years, right? And we started jamming together, and then I think the first person who amongst us. But before I go into the story, so that's how we met. And then but the principle is this: it's not so much. I don't know if you noticed, if you listen to the three bands, right? My band, Shakir's band's called The Rombongan. Keith's band's called Keith and Casualties, and he's got a new release recently. Check out that song; it's really, really good.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Today. Yeah, and so if you listen to all three bands, it's completely different.
Yes, exactly.
And I find that amazing. And that's I made a conscious decision to invite Shakir and Keith to join AZLAN RAMLI QUARTET, or ARQ, as I call it. It's a conscious choice because not only am I comfortable with them, I find they really complement each other. In some sense, they are quite opposite, right? So Shakir's the blues man. He's very soulful. Yes. Not say Keith's not soulful, but the soul is quite different. Yeah, it tends to be gentler. There's a lot more cleaner textures coming up from his guitar work and stuff like that. And he likes to play a strat, so the sounds all very different. And then, so if you listen to our songs, you if you hear like a cleaner, delicate guitar part, it's probably Shakir, right? Okay. Keith comes from the other side, right? So Keith is, I call him our resident rock star. He's like, if you check out our IG, you can see some of his pictures.
He has the package,
right? Yeah, he's got the package, right? And his plays through a Les Paul, prefers to go through a Marshall. He's got this huge rock sound, and I need that. I need that energy.
Okay.
Right? And they're both amazing guitar players. And typically, I'm in the middle stage, right? And I would have Shakir on one side and Keith on the other side. And I tell you, in the middle of it, it's just like heaven. It's like
nice.
you fly out, right? And tying it all together is Ajang. Ajang is a very, very experienced drummer. Her influences are world music, yeah.
Okay.
And she does a lot of session work as well. She does Latin music. She does rock. She does gospel. It's totally versatile, like most drummers are. And in ARQ, she does rock, right? And it just works out very well because there's a lot of texture in her rock playing. So like in our song released in July, called "At My Table." Now that song was recorded by our old drummer before my band was formed, right?
Okay.
friend called Sam. Sam A can say Sam. He's in the UK now. And awesome drummer, right? And very influenced by Afro beats. And he has trouble playing a straight up rock beat because he's got color, and it's just nice, right? And so when we recorded the song "At My Table" with Sam on drums, right? He was just dying because I said, "Hey, Sam, for the verses, can you just do a straight up four on the floor?" Right? And he just like was dying. And then on the third verse, he went off on this reggae, not reggae, Afro rhythm, and I said, Sam, you know what? The third verse sounds so good. Why did you just play the whole song? Right? Seriously. So
bingo, bonus.
yeah. But then when Arjun joins the band, she learns the song and she interprets it her way. And because must remember she's heavily influenced by world music. It's just so natural. It's like something comes out, and then she adds all this stuff, and like, wait, do I have Arjun Dietary or Stuart Copeland behind me? And it's like really amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a nice.
So yeah, it's a nice feeling. And back to that. So Keith's band, completely different sound, completely different vibe. He writes the songs, he sings it, and in some of my gigs, I spotlight the two. Right, I said we have so much talent, we might as well spotlight and promote these two bands anyway because they have amazing music themselves. So typically, if you come to our longer sets, we when we have sets of more than 45-hour plus sets, we do include Keith's, at least one Keith song and one track, and they sing
like a cross promo.
Yeah, like a cross promo. Why not, right? And it's evident they sound different. And it's so funny. The last time we did that at Korea, some of Keith's band members were in the audience, and we did one of the bands like, yeah. And then ARQ band members other than me, and Keith like, yeah, I think we do it better than you guys. I'm not going to say it. It's just different, but it's funny. I love it. It does. It might get confusing. So what we do is the sound is already different. So that's cool.
Okay.
What I try to do also is to have a different kind of stage presence on every time I play. I can't really change how I play because that's inside me. How I move and everything. I can't change that. I'm not very conscious about how I do that.
That's you.
I change what I wear. That's right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. For me, this is not new. Back in the old days when my old band was distributed through PT, we, a lot of the underground gigs, myself and do you know Mokhtar Rizal?
Yes, I know.
Yeah, so Mokhtar was Seven Colours' first drummer. And we record with him all the time right now at iSig Music Studios. So Mokhtar and I actually joined the late Hassan, God rest his soul, Hassan's old band in Soft Touch, and we do that. We play there. So it's not something new for me. And when I remember in those days when I was playing in Soft Touch in the same gig with my old band, I would say, "Oh, what do I do? Okay, I wear a hat. Now I'm in this guy." But it's not really much of this guy. So.
I you try
Trala,
Trala.
Trala, because in the end, when I play with other bands, the whole point is to make that music as best as can be, right? When
not to overshadow in any way possible. Yeah. But the thing is, now coming up with this younger, I hate using the word younger, but newer group and all, and in comparison with what you were experiencing through the years, I mean, I've pretty much seen it all. It's like from the era of people going absolutely crazy during gigs. It's a different feel. For those young ones, not young ones, I don't want to use the word young. I don't want to use young. Makes me feel old. I mean, for the new phase of bands who have not experienced what gig was like back in the day, it's a different feel altogether. The mindset, how the whole thing worked, and no one actually cared about the publicity, much of it. Everybody was like hardcore going into the disc to watch the whole show itself, even in terms of music coming out. How has it been different for you? I mean, you've seen both phases of it. How, in comparison, how is it different for you?
That's an interesting question now because it's different and same at the same time.
Okay.
So let me start with how's it same? Yeah.
Okay.
How is it same? Is that um, there's a lot of young energy at the gigs, and they put heart and soul in it. I'm talking about both bands and audience and organizers. And there's a huge DIY vibe to it still. Yeah. Of course, back then, people promote with paper flyers. And,
Yeah.
I remember I usually stayed back late in my day job. And my boss like, wow, Aslan very rajin, right? Very hardworking, can stay back late. Actually, you know why? Because
But I use the
everyone-
photostat machine now.
yeah, that's right. I can use the copy machine to
Been there,
print
done
out my
that.
big flyers, right? And now it's a lot simpler. Obviously, you do have some fancy flyers on your PC and you distribute it, or on your phone. Uh, and flyers are way more pro that way. That multimedia flyers stuff like. But the vibe on the ground
Mhm.
uh, is similar. It's to me, it's the same. In fact, when I first came back into the scene, right, I went to an indie gig, and I'm like deja vu, like, hey, hang on, this is very familiar. Like,
Nice.
I've seen this before, right? And people are moshing, people not giving, not caring about whatever. This is going down and just getting into it, right? So that part is similar, right? Now, what's different? What's different is musicianship is a lot higher now. I must say, yeah, it's just
Okay.
insanely better. I find that the new generation musicians, from a technical perspective, is a lot
Okay.
better. Yeah, I'm not saying that the music's better. That's subjective. I can't say.
Okay.
But technically, you can say. Yeah. So technically, tend to be more proficient. There are more bands. In
Okay.
fact, and then the use of technology is crazy, right? So people make use of social media typically, and networks and communities are extended via technology. You should do that, huh? And everyone's on mobile, anyways, on phone. All the
Yeah.
time. It's very useful. One thing that's very different, and this is most evident recently in the past few months, and it's come to head now. I feel, and I think
Okay.
some might agree. I don't know if you would. Is that after the pandemic lockdowns, right? This all this pent up energy, people can't go play gigs, can't go watch events, and suddenly there's this huge supply. Yeah,
Exactly.
more than one person in the industry have told me there's a slight oversupply. Right. Of course, when you talk about music shows, there's several different levels. Right. You have your
Yeah.
huge arena style,
Mhm.
ZAP style shows to down all the way down to your tiny studio indie gigs, right? And at all levels, there's a bit of an oversupply actually at this point in time. So people are
Yes.
not. I wouldn't say they're not consciously competing. Everyone just wants to
Yeah.
go and play
No,
and have a good
but
time, put it out there. But yeah,
the thing about the indie scene, I'm not talking about the bigger players. I mean, the
Sure.
big stage ones and all. The good part about the indie players, they're not really competing,
yeah,
but rather they just want to showcase their stuff. Because that's one thing I've observed very much in the indie scene. Everybody's very supportive of each other.
yes,
Okay, I may
that's
not
what I want.
share your details, I may not share your shows or whatsoever, but there wasn't there isn't a mindset that, oh man, he's doing this, I got to do this, I got to bring him down. No, that kind of competitiveness is not there
No.
in the indie scene. There's one thing I've always appreciated that even from back then. Also, it's like
Yeah,
everybody's supporting each other. It doesn't
that
matter whose
vibe.
show it goes on.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that
there's
vibe is
always
yeah, absolutely
sorry,
the
you
same
saying?
vibe. That's one
Yeah,
of the things that I mentioned earlier. It's absolutely the same vibe, and people really regard everyone as friends, right? If you recall subculture, that's how they,
yeah.
that's how the guy addresses the audience. Hey, kawan, that kind of thing. And it's still true.
Yeah, they're very supportive because I've watched, I've been at a couple of gigs, I've been involved in a couple of them. In fact, like there's one soundstage band competitions and so on. The
Hell
good
yeah.
part is this, like even bands, like if you have a following, right after your act, the next act comes in, your followers remain there. They don't
Yeah.
just leave that place. Okay, my band is done, so I'm done for the day. I'm not going
Yeah.
to come back. But they actually stay on and support each other, which is a beautiful thing about the indie scene. I've always appreciated that very much compared to the mainstream arena. That's one good part about this whole thing. And even when it comes to competition, it's competition how to make it sound better, look better, and how to increase the followers more. That's about it. That's how I look at it
Yeah.
for the indie scene, which is great, man.
Yeah. I don't even feel any competition,
Yeah, there is.
the the quote unquote competition comes down only not because people want to compete, because everybody wants to play out as much as possible. And some weekends, in fact, all weekends now, there's going to be multiple shows. So if you're an audience, like, hey, where do I spend my 30 ringgit? Where do I spend?
Yes.
You only have so much money, right? So
I had the exact same conversation with Brandon de Cruz on my previous episode. It's one too many shows going on back to back. The slice of the cake is getting thinner by the day. It's like the options you have. Who am I to check out? This guy or the other guy? If I miss the show, would he come back again? So that's always a predicament. In my case, I end up not going anywhere.
But as a music fan, it's brilliant.
Yeah. It is nice to have the things like you do. There's no lack of options for you over the weekend.
I mean,
I guarantee you this weekend there must be 10 shows, man, somewhere.
Yeah. So which band you want to watch? When? That kind of thing. It's awesome. And you have an option. So for example, this coming Sunday, we're playing at Rumah Api. I'm going to plug it, right? And
yes,
we're playing on site Xerophobia. We're playing on site Rans, Hey J, Rombongan. We're playing on site Parabola. And it's an afternoon Sunday gig. And you haven't seen those in years, right? It used to be the norm way back when, Sunday afternoon. So if you are a Xerophobia gang fan, for example, then hey, do I watch Xerophobia at Rumah Api, or do I watch them at Rock the World the following week? Right? Got pluses and minuses, right? My advice is if you can afford it, go both, lah. But
have a sneak peek.
Yeah, well, sneak peek, but you won't get as close to the band at Rock the World.
True.
So it's both ways. If you can afford it, go both, because there's nothing like Rock the World. That's I've been there before on the very first one, so it's just an amazing experience. But it's not as intimate as Rumah Api. So fans have that choice. I think if you are a music lover, indie lover especially, this is unprecedented times. It's even more amazing than before, in a sense, because before it was like really underground. People almost had to hide, and looking for venues not easy, very hard to find venues and stuff like that, and that's why usually you have it on Sunday afternoons at that time. Now I would say now people are more open. Most shows are actually in the evening. My sense, more natural for music, right? People don't even wake up. So.
No, but I also wonder, as an indie performer, you work hand up side by side with a lot of great bands and all. Do you all actually come up with the discussion, or have you all considered doing that on working together? Like for example, this particular Sunday, you're going to have a series of bands coming along and performing. So even in your case, instead of just having one band, have 2-3 bands work together, so you don't have to flood the market with too many shows on the same day. So it's like working hand in hand with a couple of the bands, organizing one gig. Do you all do that on a regular basis, or has that ever been done before?
Yeah, that's like the most common way we do it for the independent shows. Yeah, I would say more often than not. There's a lot of advantages, right? So the audiences for each band get to experience music that they would not have listened to. First, right? Number one. Number two, for the lesser known bands with a smaller following, they get the advantage of bigger exposure, right? And it's all about pooling resources and getting the most of it. And yes, I didn't think of it that way, NAV, but you're right. It does help consolidate the bands and the shows, so that there's not crazy too many shows going on, and the market's only so big, right? So
because when you have that oversupply, then you know how the demand works after that. It's like the frequency. I mean, I appreciate having more shows because
I love it.
I have it, but I'm also concerned that it will be overflooding the market. That's the only concern that I have. The exclusivity of a band when it's, or rather shows, not band, but shows, when it's too much, it's also a little scary on the long run. It's like
some people say it's there already for the Klang Valley, for KL. Yeah. Maybe not outside KL yet, but some people say we are already there at some kind of saturation point. But I think that's just a reaction of 2 years of pandemic, and people are like, all this pandemic, you just want to
let go, let it all out.
Yeah. So I think we'll stabilize. It's more difficult, more high risk, more costly, but I think touring is another thing that bands don't do enough of. It's just more difficult, less practical. But it'd be great if we can get into that kind of scene. Like,
how about you, ARQ? Do you
yeah.
guys, have plans apart from KL? I'm sorry to say this, but KL is a bit overrated when it comes to shows. Like, it's like everybody else is dying for shows in different states, but nobody is going to their venue, or not, rather, not as many as you expect. So, do you have plans of like going on different states and different tours, or maybe performing in gigs in different towns? Have you ever planned that for your band?
Oh, absolutely. In August, we played Johor, for example. That was fun. And in fact, the ambition then was to do a Peninsula Malaysia tour. We put that on hold for a while because we need to find a couple of bands with a decent nationwide following that can make it viable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I hope it won't have to wait till we build that following ourselves. Maybe a new band. So, but yeah, that's the whole idea. And I think we can make it happen in 2023. No, we can start with something not so ambitious, maybe 4 cities. Perhaps yeah,
Exactly.
JB or 5 city JB, Malacca, KL, Ipoh, Penang, for example. That'd be amazing already.
Nice towns.
We should also include Kuantan. But again, it's something that needs to be planned carefully. I think we can use what we do now, where we take in a few bands at the same time, mix it in some local bands with whichever city we play in, stuff like that, and have a real good, strong audience draw in the headliner, for example. That'd be great. And love to support that. I don't mind helping the organization either. For sure. I mean,
you'll be great, man. You'll know best about how to run these things, because I've noticed a lot of shows. Like I said earlier, it's like I've seen everything. KL, Klang Valley. It's like I feel, come on, man. There's other bands, other states. You need to showcase your sound, your band too. It's like, instead of just focusing it down here, spread the fever, the indie fever all over. Because like you said earlier, there are so many super bands in different states, and having a collaboration on these shows would further bring up the whole scene itself.
Yeah.
But of course, it's always down to dollars and cents. Is the shows or the ticket price and sales, is it sufficient enough to make it a comfortable profit for the bands and for their time and the effort they put in? Is it good right now? I mean, the ticket sales and whatever you guys are charging.
I don't know about the other bands, but for us, we feel like a startup where it's just a burn rate. So, I do the books for my band as well. And, I'm waiting to use blue ink.
Oh man, that is pretty scary, man. I mean, seriously, I was like, talking to a couple of my friends who were, from the corporate side. I said, come on, it's about time you just focus your energy on the indie side a little bit to see test waters and how you can spread your audiences, because the following is huge. You can't deny the fact that the indie scene following is huge. The only problem is it's scattered. So that is the only difficulties they face. But hopefully someday they'll focus on sponsoring a lot of gigs here, there, and everywhere. But from gigs, sorry, you're saying?
Oh, you mentioned Positive Tone earlier, right?
Yeah.
But did you mention it? Okay. Anyways, I did already. Sorry.
That was before the conversation.
They were masters at that.
Yes.
They were really, really good at it. They knew how to do that. And as a result, had some really good shows, and it helped their bands, reach a huge audience. So that's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because just imagine this, and I'm throwing your brand names down here. Even back in the day, you had brands like Coke and Pepsi sponsoring for independent artists. The local scene back then. It's like, wow. Yeah, how did that even happen? You had big brands actually tagging along on the local music scene, which is amazing. Their marketing template, their format was fantastic, man. Positive Tone did an amazing job. Hopefully someone can just pick up that pace from there. But let's get back to your music right now. Di Mana, that is the latest or recent single that you have released. I kind of like the cover for that, man.
Thank you.
That animated thing is like, okay, I know this face. You, of course, you cannot escape the hairstyle. Tell us a little bit more about this particular track, Di Mana. What is it all about, and what inspired you to write the song?
Thanks. Di Mana is literally about searching. That's the title. hints at it, right? So I got the song in the middle of the night because I need to wake up to go to the bathroom. And the chorus, the chorus came out
You
just like
musicians
that.
come up with weird time to write a song, don't you?
And, yeah, less science, more art kind of thing. Yeah, and then I was just walking about like not awake, it's probably hung like setiap tapaku tuju. Oh, hang on. Setiap tapaku tuju. Oh, wait, where's my phone? And I just recorded my voice memo, right? And then went back to sleep. Then next, that's it. And it's really something that probably something I've been thinking about a long time as a topic, right? Uh, so Nav, I left the music scene late 2000, long time ago,
Okay.
and I was hibernating. Maybe I was a bit heartbroken with music. I don't know, but I just kept away from it for the longest time, and I was just also dying. Right, my soul kind of dies inside, and it's always been searching. That's what the song is about, really. And I'm glad that I got a very good response to that. People tell me that they can relate to it and all that. That's nice because when you write a song, it means something to me personally, and to some listeners, it means something else altogether. Usually, it's related, but I'm just so glad that it does that. But that's what it's about. It's about searching for what true meaning for your life, and that's different for each individual, but that's that song. Yeah.
Nice. That's a very nice song. It's like, well, now that you mentioned it, I think I could relate to that in myself. Like every one of us, when you have, especially when you're in this scene, you have that gap. It's like you can't let it go. Neither you can stay. And then when you come back, it's like it's from the scratch. It's from scratch all over again, and finding the right path to lead. Well, that's not as easy as it sounds, man.
No, dude. I mean, I had to start all over from bottom again.
I could imagine. I was like, it's like when you sent me the profiles at 2022. I said, dude, are you sure this is the right one? Is it like typo or some printing mistake? Am I seeing it right? 2022. I mean, seriously, what made you decide to come back in 2022?
Actually, I came back a couple of years earlier than that as a solo singer.
Okay.
Yeah. But the band is 2022.
Okay.
I'm much more comfortable in band. I love playing in band. I love playing bass. And if you on a solo singer songwriter with bass, not as fun. And I love the band rock band energy, and I like my bands to be small, so that's why it's a quartet.
Okay.
I was considering trio, but then when I heard, before I found the band, was asking the band members to join. Keith and Shaki. I cannot choose. I need both.
It's a tough choice, man. It's a tough choice. But I must say, you did the right pick, man. You did the perfect pick. I've listened to both of them. I've been following them for a while now, and it's a very, very good choice. You have the right assemble. The Avengers have assembled in the right way. That's how I can this is like how I like to put it. And shows, you have one coming up this coming Sunday, which is at Rumah Api, and I'm pretty sure you have a series going on in Merdeka Raya also, right, in the next couple of weeks or so?
No, we played Merdeka Raya a few weeks ago.
Okay.
A few weeks ago, and we're playing in Angkor next Friday.
Angkor, sorry, I got mixed up. Angkor, yeah, sorry. So the whole list, I'll try to put the whole list on the webpage so you can follow them, and also link to AZLAN's social media page, and you can find everything about it. But what are your plans for 2023? I mean, you're closing into the year end, and 2023, what's the plan? What way you're planning to head to? The kinds of music that you're planning to come up with? Can you give us a sneak peek on that? Or give me the sneak peek on that.
Yeah. We're recording already right now. In fact, it's final stage. We've done the vocals. There's a couple more things I want to do on it before we go into mix. And this will be our first release for 2023, either after Chinese New Year or in early February. And then we actually recorded another song in a different studio in parallel. So that'll be the one following that up. And then I've already plans for 2 more songs after that. The only thing is I want to change that plan a bit because I want to have a bit more Malay songs. This next one will be another Malay song, by the way. Some reason for that is I was quite surprised. Di Mana has 3 times more listenership in Indonesia than in Malaysia. So I'm like,
Nice.
oh, this is pretty cool. So
Tour in the map, tour ARQ in Indonesia, tour.
yes, actually, we're trying to figure that out. So we're reaching out to friends in Indonesia. And guys, if you're from Indonesia and listening to this, please reach out to me directly via NAV. I'd love to talk to you, figure out how we can play out in Indonesian venues. Maybe even a tour, that'd be great. It'd be fantastic to support an Indonesian band. I have the utmost respect for Indonesian bands. I think you've probably heard this before now, but Malaysian musicians are usually in awe of Indonesian musicians, right? They're like amazing. Right? So
You'd be surprised. Another thing, if you're going to perform there, you're going to love the crowd over there too. It's different. Yeah. It's like, I mean, I'm pretty sure you experienced it before. It's like, the thing is, like, for those who haven't experienced that before, try doing a show in Indonesia. You can see the appreciation level is totally different, man.
Yeah. So 2023 in a nutshell, expect more Bahasa songs. I'm writing more. Dimana, by the way, was the first Bahasa song I wrote from scratch.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, as in not translated or whatever. Yeah. And I'm getting the hang of it and I love it. And rediscovering my roots, I guess. So yeah, there's more. So 2023 is a lot more of those songs, and we're thinking of actually shows outside KL, in other cities in Malaysia, and hopefully in Indonesia itself.
Yeah. Nice, man. Nice. I so look forward for that. And once again, it looks like I am a fan of another band in my list. 2022. My gosh. I've been becoming fans of so many bands. You guys are awesome, man. You guys are freaking awesome. I just love not only your music, I mean the effort that you put in and the dedication you have towards your music, your shows. It's fantastic. I always appreciate that very, very much. It's not easy as it sounds or it looks. So for those listening to this particular podcast, remember, bands are not just about the music. There's a whole lot of work behind the scenes, which they put up in order to come up with this music and come up with the shows. So the best way you can do, what you can do is to support them. There's so many ways. Either you watch the shows, listen to the music, and if you can't do either one of those, the least you can do is share the events and share the music. That's the most important thing. And among the circle itself, the independent scene, share your bandmates or your colleagues or whoever you can think of. Share their stuff. I don't see you guys doing much of that. Do it as much as you can, man.
Thanks for that shout out, Nav. Thanks.
Yes.
Hey, I want to do a shout out for my old band. Is that all right?
Yes, go ahead.
So, this past month there's a lot of releases. I mean, my band has Dimana. Go check it out. It's on all the digital platforms, Spotify and stuff. I have a DIY lyric video on YouTube as well. And people kind of like it, which is strange. It's done right here. So
nice.
Yeah, so that's our own release for this past month. I mentioned Keith and Casualties. They released a song called Ever Comes the amazing song.
Yes, I heard that.
This song. Shaki in the past month actually released two songs. One of it instrumental, and one other is a song that will make you cry. Check it out. Yeah, my old band Spunky Funky released their first song in 22 years.
Whoa, that is a very long time, man.
Go check it out. Since I mentioned the name of the band, that's one of the best times of my life. It's awesome. In fact, ARQ covers a Spunky song in our sets regularly because the band members love the song. So okay, fine, let's do it.
Still family. You're still family. I'll put all the links you can think of, every single songs there from Spotify to YouTube videos. All the links will be available on the website page. So do check it out. All the links you need to know. And please like it, share it, and spread the word, man, as much as possible. Azlan, thank you so much for taking the time and waking me up on a Tuesday morning, which I like. I got to start doing more of this at this hour, actually. And thank you so much. I wish you all the best in your journey. Congratulations on your brand new single, and best of luck in your upcoming shows for this Sunday, next week, and of course next year. It's going to be a wonderful one, man. Is there anything else you'd like to add on?
Oh, just lots of thanks to you, Nav, to everyone out there in the scene. I know, like Nav said, all in all, in general, people are very, very supportive and just want to see the the entire scene go out together, right? I love that. Let's keep that vibe. Let's just keep it real as well. Let's just let's do it. Let's just do it. I love it.
Nice. I hope I can check you guys out this coming Sunday. This
Oh,
coming
that's
Sunday is going to it's going to be at Rumah Api, right? What time is
Yeah.
it again? 2 o'clock.
No, it's not as early as the old tea dance. It starts at 5.
Okay.
Yeah, and Nav, if you come, I'll give you a band T-shirt.
Nice. I wish you have the size, my size, which I doubt it very much. You know, I've been begging bands to print out a double XL or triple XL or 5XL, but nah, all the T-shirts end up being singlets or strictly for display purposes only. Hopefully, this one. Sexy, my God. This one, like Tara Liat putting a T-shirt. But I will try to make it this coming Sunday because the lineup that you mentioned and your band performing, it's something that's not to be missed. So I'll try to drop by as fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. I'll try to check you guys out there. So Azlan, thank you so much, man. I'll have
Thanks
a chat
so
with
much.
you. Hopefully not too long, no big gap. Hopefully soon, yeah? Take care, man.
Take it.